Organissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today at www.organissima.com. Organissima, New York. Your beauty is our...
Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, with your host, Hurricane H. New day, new show, new topic, new guest. And today's topic is going to be an interesting one because in the realm of healthcare, there are a lot of resources and people have that. There's a lot of social media. There's a lot of stuff where people can actually seek information. But today, my guest actually has started her own company, her own network, to say, and she'll define it more for us in the detail and as to what and the where and how, who does it work for. But it's really a resource where if you need some information about healthcare and wellness, you go there, and vice versa. I mean, some people will probably say, well, we can go to Google, and we're going to talk about that with our guest today. So with me, I have Hedieh Safiyari, and she's the CEO of PromptHealth, all the way from Vancouver. Hedieh, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you for being here and accepting the invitation and willing to actually share your concept and your company and your story. And I know there's a story. You didn't just come up and start this company. Obviously, we start things. There's a need, and we do that. But let's take us to your journey, like how where it started and why you had found the need for such a platform.
Absolutely. So my background obviously is in healthcare. I have a master's in cardiac rehab. I spent my entire career in private health, in one of the pioneers of private health in Canada for over 15 years. And that's where I saw the gap and the need firsthand on both sides. We have people seeking different solutions and they're not really sure who to go to, especially when it comes to holistic care options, because there's lots of different providers and services that people are not aware of. Lots of different people with certain specialties that people are not aware of. And we had these people coming to us this whole time, asking us for certain things. And we would find ourselves like sitting, Googling, and, maybe someone comes up on Google, maybe doesn't, and depending on how good their website is, or even if they have a website or not. And the search was not ideal. And then on the other side, there are all these other providers and professionals and services and now products. And it's such a fragmented market because everybody does their own thing and it's not necessarily efficient. So they have a hard time getting their word out there to be discovered. So I always wanted to solve this problem, didn't know how because my background was in health, and I didn't know how to start a business. So I went back to school, got an MBA, started getting involved with some startups, doing some consulting, and beginning of pandemic, my career ended, and that was the time to start this journey, and that's how PromptHealth started. So it's essentially a platform and app that we're connecting health seekers to providers based on individualized needs. That's how it started at the beginning. It's still like that, but what we found out over the past year was how provider community really they were so happy about having a home or a community. So many messages, so many testimonials from people saying we're so happy to find out about each other and be able to refer to each other and like have a place to learn about each other's services. And that kind of highlighted how these guys are each doing their own thing and can benefit from this like community approach, and how we actually built a community as a product. So we're highlighting that more to give them value, really empowering them to get their voice out there, so they can get discovered easier naturally. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, first of all, I love the innovation part. I mean, ultimately there is a need. And again, you mentioned something about people can Google, and I also mentioned earlier, but yes, you can Google a lot of things, but you're right. If people are not SEO savvy and they don't have the right positioning, you might not even see them. You got to go like page 20 and they don't pop up. People don't have, to your point, a good website that is really easily available. And there are people still, they're small boutiques, whatever they might not, although now it's getting more digitized. And so, but what you create is a digital forum for gathering, folks, and they can have an exchange of a network, an opportunity to know who potentially they can refer business to, resource to, and so on and so forth. And I have to say, you're in Canada,
yes,
and the healthcare system is a little different over there.
Yeah.
So I know you were going to say something, so say it first before you lose that thought, and then we can go back to the Canada piece.
Yeah, I wanted to mention, and not just anybody, vetted people, because there is a vetting process involved. We don't accept just anyone. They have to be credentialed health professionals, because what we also saw over the pandemic, anybody can come and give health advice on any social media platform, and you have no idea who these people are, right? Like who are you getting your health advice from? So this is a platform where you can trust the information, because all of these people are certified.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. And I was laughing when you said that, because you're right. I mean, there has been an increase and a spike in health officials. Everybody on that TikTok can actually have a health opinion and maybe a piece of information for everything. I mean, we struggle with that all the time. I mean, even in the world of fitness, and nutrition and things like that. Everybody's an expert, insurance. And again, it's about opinions, right? And we know that everybody has an opinion, which is okay. But to your point, if this is something that is a true resource with professional level, you need to make sure that the folks are, top notch.
Exactly. And when it comes to your health, it's different to have an opinion about like real estate or stock, but when it comes to health, you're dealing with people's lives. Right. So when you see someone like says, put a garlic up your nose and all of a sudden like your migraine, like it's just, there are so much like wellness trends on all kinds of platforms that I've seen, because I've been really active on all social media platforms. The number of times I've gone into Clubhouse rooms or TikTok, like different platforms, and the people that are giving advice to people, like it was so bothersome to me, because I'm like, but what is your credential? Like, you're actually dealing with people's lives here, right? So I think when it comes to health, it's super, super important, because it can be detrimental. Yeah.
Well, you're right. And again, I mean, people try remedies and it works for them, and and therefore they're the authority on that particular wellness, and especially you mentioned holistic approach. So people are always seeking the non-traditional medicine, and therefore you have a lot of folkloric stuff and cultural input and so on and so forth. Then it gets opinionated also, and then it ends that story. And you're right, there were tremendous amounts of people that are giving any type of advice about how to make your own medicine and antibiotics and so on and so forth, which some could be, they have the right background, and but again, like you said, there's a mix. But it's important to really focus on the idea that this is for the folks that are, professionals in those areas, and so let's talk about that. And I want to go back to the Canada healthcare, because you said you ended your career and you started this, and in Canada it's a little bit different, because it's more of a I guess a governmental type of healthcare system primary, right? So it's that kind of format. And then you have the privatized sector, but it's different. So just to enlighten people, just to highlight a little bit how that works and how this actually helps in that particular angle. But so the vetting process, let's say if I wanted to join this, I mean, first of all, who are the people that are qualified to join? And what would be the vetting process? How long does it take, and how does it work?
Yeah, so our niche is holistic because health is so big, right? So we said holistic because that's the area that a lot of people are not sure who does what. Like it's very clear, like what a doctor does, right? Like what an optometrist does. But naturopath, wellness coach, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, chiro, osteopath. There's so much, right? Like when it comes to different allied healthcare professionals and alternative complementary solutions. So any one of those practitioners can be part of this platform. It's open to doctors if they want to. There's a lot of doctors who specialize in functional medicine or lifestyle medicine, but there's more of them in US, not a lot in Canada. And also because of our healthcare system being public, they don't need the business because they already have a wait list, right? And it's paid by government. So it's a different market in other countries. But in Canada, it's the holistic market is good for that. And once they want to be on the platform, they have to apply and fill out the forms, and we actually have to approve them or not based on their qualifications. So they all get checked out, and they either get accepted or rejected. If they go an extra step and upload their certification as well, they get a blue tick that says they're verified. Instagram. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. I mean, it's almost like a credentialing, process where, you have to submit your credentials and your process, you check out their background, and again, that's actually good, credible. People now can know, they know that if they go into the platform. Now, this is for the providers. So for the seekers, for let's say someone just like me who wants to, reach out and find out more about certain services, is there anything specific that I have to do?
No, so it's so we call it navigator. So you can actually go and based on your need. So we start from the need as opposed to provider type, because a lot of times people don't know what type of provider they need to see, right? So let's say if you have back pain, you could see a massage, chiro, osteo. A lot of people don't know who osteopath is, or different types of providers. So you start from the need, and then it gives you all your options based on your location or virtual services, and then you can also narrow it down. So there are filter options that you can narrow it down based on gender, age, specialty, rate, distance, so you can have like a narrower option. So if you get like 10 different options, you can filter it down, kind of like Amazon, to get the closest to your need. So that's how the search is. And it's just the connection. So it says this person would be appropriate. There's a profile. We added the content section, which is very much like Twitter or LinkedIn, where they can the providers can create content. And just like LinkedIn, when you see someone's profile, based on the content and whatever they share, you have more trust in them, right? So this is the same idea. So once they see a profile and they learn all about that person, if there's any content that there's more trust, they can learn about that person. Maybe they need to see that person right away, maybe not. Maybe they keep coming to learn information, and when the need arises, they can connect with that person. So that's how the journey on the seeker side is. But as I said, over the past year, what was very clear, from our experience on social media, was the fact that a lot of the healthcare providers are either not on social media, or if they are, they're not super active. So, and that showed how that need is so much like bigger than what we thought, especially with pandemic and the explosion of social media. And if you're not on there, you're obsolete, basically. Right? Whether, and it's not about whether you need to see more clients or not. Even if you want to stay engaged and be relevant, you need to be there, right? So that's why we're kind of pivoting and shifting, not shift, the directory is still there, but we want the value prop to be more for the providers, to really empower them to get their message out there, to handhold them more, to give them more tools to actually create these contents by sharing their knowledge. Because the other thing that's happening is the creator economy, as you know, all these influencers and creators, that industry is blowing up. So we're basically trying to encourage the providers to be creators by sharing their knowledge so people can find out more about them through knowledge. So that's what we're putting our focus on. We revamped the whole site recently and added the content features, which looks very similar to Twitter or LinkedIn of wellness. And we're now trying to come up with different strategies by creating an academy for them to teach them and handhold them in creating those contents. So people can, and then when all of these people do that, the people will come because, they each have a certain number of clientele. And if they each tell their clientele, that's automatic, channel for people to find out about the platform.
Thank you. Well, so I mean, you've clarified some things, because someone can say, well, I can go on LinkedIn, I can go on, different places, and you're right, you can, but it's pretty much global. There's so many folks, and you have to know how to do it. It's really like almost a selected, group of, registered, verified, certified. You go in there, you know exactly what you get in. It is a similar industry stuff, and it's a direct link, right? And that's, I think, the advantage. And you're right. Now, a lot of providers are not really typically doing the social stuff, but now, I mean, there is a movement. I see a lot of doctors on TikTok, and some of them more on LinkedIn. But you're right. It's not. I mean, if you count the number of providers out there and different types of services they provide, and they're not available all on the media and at the social media specifically, and in general media period. I mean, some do some appearances here and there, but that's about it. I mean, only if you make it to the general media anyways. But the idea is that you have something, and you said something about creators. There are more of them that are actually getting more into this creative, mode, and doing shows and doing things and tips. And so you're giving them something as a resource now, in addition to everything else they have. By the way, they have the others, but this is more like specialized, and that's definitely the key word here.
Exactly. And also the fact that, the other channels are so busy now, right? Like we do with TikTok having 1 billion people, and Clubhouse having probably the same. They're so saturated and busy. So this is just for wellness, right? And people are certified. They're not random people. They're certified. So this is how it makes it differentiate. And also, Clubhouse is just audio, TikTok is just video, LinkedIn and Twitter are just, text and blogs. So what we did, and so I went on a personal journey of social media over the past year to, really market research, social media. And it was interesting because I was completely new to all of it. I had zero social media experience until this past year. And I went on explored every channel, kind of like mastered all of them, I can say now, including podcasts, YouTube, everything. And, I learned there are people that are just comfortable with audio. There are people that are just comfortable with video. So we said, okay, on this platform, we're going to give you all these options. If you're not comfortable with video, you can just upload the audio. So they can, so we basically adopted something from every platform. So they can just literally pick up their phone and say something, do this for mental health, like take 5 minutes, to rest, something like that. And that's it. That's the content. Right? So we have audio, we have text, like a tweet, we have article, like, blog, events. So that's why it's very similar to, we don't have video yet. That's just, there's no competition with TikTok. You can't compete with that. If they want to do video, they can go to TikTok. But we have like all these other things like audio, picture, tweet, or text, article, all that stuff that they can share knowledge, and they can share it from there to other platforms as well.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. Well, first of all, you're right. And there people have different. I'll give you a good example. I mean, my channel is audio visual, so both sides you can get the radio, you can get on podcasts, you can watch it on all the streaming channels. So the same concept, because I want it to be available to all people, so they can have the access that they comfortable with. Because not everybody wants to watch, not everybody wants to listen. So that kind of thing. But you're right. It's a very, very slick and smart way. So I give you a chapeau on that one, because I mean. That's the way to do it. You build in what's the need and how you can reach out to the majority of people out there and make it accessible and easy for their own taste, right? And by the way, you mentioned something about TikTok. Yeah, I mean, you can't compete when it comes to like 3-minute shows max, but you definitely can have the ability to have them maybe upload some videos of their own.
They can do that. Yeah. They can upload, if there's any video source they have, like TikTok, YouTube, Vimeo, like whatever, they can post.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can upload a link to whatever the video.
So just not live. They can't go live yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
well, soon.
Future if they want it, exactly. Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
But basically they can repurpose any content they have, right? Mm-hmm. The audio is the easiest because they don't have to write anything, they don't have to make anything pretty. They basically just have to pick up, because it's an app format too, right? They just like press a plus sign and say something. That's it. That's the content. But now the next step is we're building an online academy to really handhold them and walk them through it, because change is hard and it's something that hasn't been done before, but that's the direction social media is going, and that's it. You know, whether we like it or not, I think everybody have to participate, because then you're obsolete, I guess.
Oh, well, you're right, and it's getting even more sophisticated now with the metaverse, and maybe you're looking into it as well. So I would recommend you should. I mean, that's the next big thing, and I think that's going to be where social media is going, eventually. But you're right. It's just adapting with times and really adjusting to the technology as well. But you're doing that now. You obviously you have a certain amount of registered, and verified people currently in the year and a half, 2 years. Now, this is not limited to Canada or Canadians and providers. It could be anyone around the world, I'm assuming, right?
So now that we're focusing more on the provider side, then yes, it anywhere in the world. Like initially when we said, we're connecting, I mean, it's still open. The listing is still open, so anyone can find them. And because it's just a connection, they can find out where they are. And if they have a virtual service that they can potentially see someone from another region, sure, that can be done. Some of them, because of their associations, are limited and they can't see someone outside of their region. So we make sure that's specified on the profile that this person can or cannot. But because we're not so focused on the user side now, because on the user side, there's a lot of limitations with different servers in different countries and HIPAA and compliance and patient privacy. But because we're not dealing with that anymore, it's so much easier. We're focusing on the provider community, and it can be from anywhere in the world. And we're giving them tools to, get their message out in an easier way. They can refer to each other, so they can, kind of like LinkedIn, where they can write each other endorsement. They can write each other recommendation. We're holding a lot of like events and classes and things to teach them along. So they're not left on their own to figure it out. There will be a lot of hand-holding. And the idea is to teach them online growth, and they can not only learn, but also learn about each other, refer to each other, network with each other. And it's just a network of holistic collaborators.
I love it. I mean, to be honest with you, I have not heard of one. There might be some alliances, some groups. But this is the first time I'm hearing some platform that is dedicated. And you mentioned Clubhouse earlier, and for some of our listeners, they may not even know what that is. I mean, it is a platform where you have different rooms and different talk shows, and people come on, and you can register by invitation, I guess, and you're vetted out in a way, but then you can have your own interactions with different topics, and it's pretty good. I mean, but it's a lot of people out there, a lot of rooms, a lot of, topics.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's everything. Yes. And yeah, I mean, when I started this project, there was nothing like it. And now over the past year, I feel like so many people want to do the same thing, the matching thing. And that's why we're like, okay, like we're going to focus here. So yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, I know the same thing. I mean, when you look podcasts, you look at, everybody wants to do something that they feel it's they can do it, and that's great. And the more diversity is fine. But to your point, when you have a nice little focused, and concentrated kind of realm, and that's exactly where you're going, and that's who you're attracting, then that's it. That's your real estate. Bottom line. So,
yeah, and that's and that's how a business goes, right? Like initially we started with health, and then we're like, okay, health is too big, so we made it like holistic health. Then we were like, okay, two-sided. We're like, okay, two-sided is too big. Let's focus on one side first, and then the other side will come. It's open to the other side. But if these guys advertise themselves good, these guys will come, right? So we're narrowing it down to make it more niche.
Well, I mean, again, you said it, you're seeking information, you're the navigator, you come in and you find, you select. If you are the actual provider, you're already there. And now you also have other fellow, practitioners or other type of, I guess, formations or different professions that are in the same realm that they can actually cooperate with and collaborate with and really partner. Sometimes it's important, like you might want to use a acupuncturist, for your services, but that's not what you do. You do maybe therapy and a lot of places, and that's how you do it. Now you find, it's a self-referral, within. And by the way, that's what LinkedIn was. I mean, LinkedIn was the idea of professionals getting together and connecting, and while Facebook was just for like, let's socialize and have friends, this was let's do network instead of doing those breakfast seminars or like after hour sessions. They just became the digital way. So but you're right, it's an important piece, and it's available now, and you said it, and I love the idea that now you've expanded. If you're a provider, doesn't matter where in the world, you can be part of this. Because with technology now, people are actually seeking alternative medicine, other things all over the world. I've had guests literally from all over the different continents, and they all are servicing people, all around the globe. So technically it's happening. So those, that's ideal for them. And you're right, there's a big awakening in the world of holistic. I mean, for the most part, people only use Western medicine for the longest. And now there's more of a need in alternative medicine, holistic, and you'll find there's so much. I've actually learned over the last 2 years that I've learned things that I never knew existed, why I didn't pay mind to, because I wasn't involved in them. And I've been in the healthcare personally 27 years. So, but I'm always in the insurance world, and it's the standard, healthcare system. But beyond that, it was really like blank. I mean, anything that I knew here and there. But now I have been exposed to almost, industries and different, styles of holistic, medicine that I was not even aware of.
Yeah, and same here. Yeah.
And by the way, that was exactly the purpose of my channel was created for the same reason, is that there was not enough health media. There is no actually health channel or something that you can watch on TV or you can a radio that is dedicated. So that was the concept where it started. So it's almost the same approach. And yes, and now I'm actually bringing those folks and services and innovators to share with people as a resource. Did you know that this is available? And it is. And you'd be surprised. Like, I never knew that these people existed, but they do.
Exactly. And, and I spent my entire career in healthcare, and I learned so much over the past year by doing this. And I think there was such a big emphasis on holistic over the past year and a half over the pandemic, because there were more awareness around the whole, looking at the person as a whole. That's what they say in holistic holistic approach, because it's not just the physical body, it's your mental health, emotional, spiritual, all of that. And the isolation made people realize the social emotional aspect of it, so highlighted that a lot more. And there's a lot of different practitioners that have different services around that. So the whole mind-body approach, it was more highlighted during this time, and that's why people are seeking it. People are more proactive about wellness in general, and that what I always say. I always like to talk about the difference between health and wellness.
Yes, and I was going to ask about that. Please go.
Yeah, because people that general public may not think this way, but health is so illness focused, and that's our traditional conventional medicine. Whereas wellness, the meaning of well-being means from all aspects, not just the physical body, right? In your head, emotionally, spiritually, in all aspects, right? So that's why wellness is being more proactive and actually seek being well, not waiting until we're sick, right? So, and I think pandemic made us all realize that. So that's why people are being more proactive, whereas before maybe they all just waited to get sick.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. That's a big point, because you're right. I mean, wellness is a bigger, concept than, I mean, health is health. I mean, we understand you have to be physically, mentally, and that's really it. But you're right. People seek health services when they're sick, and I've had some shows about preventative medicine, things like that, because people don't really do something in advance and proactively. They just wait until it's too late, and then oops. Now you have to treat it, and now you don't like the treatment because now you have medicine and radiation, God forbid, and all the other stuff, and it's rough. But if you have a holistic and wellness approach, that is proactive, your lifestyle is changed, over the years, and you kind of prevent some of the, the bad things from happening. I think, to your point with the pandemic, there's another aspect to it. People were in the pandemic, literally locked down. Some did not want to go into the healthcare system because of the fear of maybe contracting, the virus. And even if they wanted to, they would be rejected because, unless you're really like dying, nobody's taking you to the hospital. And especially when we had the severe, months. So a lot of people were looking into like alternative approaches and what I can do to actually be healthier and physically and boost up my immune system. And then that's where the research began. Like, oh, I found out Reiki, I found out Ayurveda, I found out this, and then that's like, and then you're right, and that's the need for this. Mm-hmm. So it's a big, and mental health is just. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it. I have a story on that, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, please, you tell us about it. But what I was going to say, sometimes I think that, if your mind is not in the right place, your body is actually going to deteriorate, quicker. I mean, your mind actually has better control over this body. And if you're in a high lifted spirits, there's a good chance that you're going to, overcome your physical health. And of course, I mean, there's different things that you cannot control if it's really your organs are going. But it had been proven that people with higher, mental abilities and things like that, in terms of like how they control themselves and emotions and how they live their lives, they do have an impact on how, it's all the subconscious. Now, I mean, we've had shows about hypnosis, for example, and how it impacts things. We've had shows about, I've had so many different guests that talked about different holistic and new ways. I mean, it's not even non-conventional stuff that works and with results and testimonials, which is, but I think during that pandemic, it has been almost like a wake-up call, like, hey, there's all this stuff that you didn't know, because now the health system is actually limiting you to access it. Now you find something else, but it was always there. Some of these things go back centuries.
Yes. Absolutely. Because I mean, look at our day-to-day life and just little things like homemade, cooking, online fitness, finding like what to eat to boost our immune system, how to have better mental health by like meditation and doing like, there's so much talk about wellness, which was always there, but nobody talked about it. So people are just more seeking more solutions and finding solutions that didn't know exist before. Yeah, absolutely. About mental health, so I had a recent, journey, which is actually really interesting. So on my, market research on social media, as I was, exploring all different social media, I started a personal TikTok account last month. And this was completely like just pure experimentation, just to see how TikTok is. And it blew up. So in 1 month, I have like 24,000 followers. And I made some posts about isolation, pandemic, mental health, and people just like pouring their heart out, and thousands of people saying, nobody has ever asked us, we don't talk, especially men, a lot of guys saying, we don't talk about mental health, like we're guys, and guys don't talk about mental health. So anyways, I did not expect this to happen. So I just wrote an article about it actually, and we just had a press release on it, and how like thousands of people like showed up and started talking about mental health, and like the number of testimonials and messages I'm receiving on a daily basis, people thanking me for like simple like TikTok videos.
Well, but
yeah,
you're right.
a need, right?
That's right. I mean, I do something similar on the motivation or like inspirational quotes and things like that. And I love to share that. I'm all about positivity. And you know what? You do see how much you're impacting people, and you get them like really excited about it. And it can change people's lives, because just that little flame that you gave them, that little advice, whatever that you shared, can make somebody's day. And it could be a couple of words. And that is a big deal. And so that status in the state of mind when you change someone from like having a gloomy day to like, oh, wow, and they just get excited. You change their life. And maybe that's their trigger to become their success, whatever, to achieve whatever their dreams are, or start something that they've always, sometimes people are not sure. They've been always surrounding people that tell them, you can't do it, you won't do it, who you think you are, what's going to happen. And this, when you start a business, for example, I'm sure there are people like, there's so many of them. What makes you different? And that's exactly what people are going to tell you. So people are going to tell you like it's not going to work, and always they will, because it didn't work for them, because they think about it, they'll tell you it's not going to work. But then you come in and you give them something as simple as, it can work. You got this, believe in yourself. And it changes. They're like, wow, my closest ones did not believe in me, and you do. Yes, I do, because I do believe that anyone out there can do whatever they want to do, and they have the ability to do it. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And it was eye-opening for me, because it was a good way for me to find out what are actually people, like what are the struggles of people and what are they looking for. And when it comes to like mental health, I ask people, because I hold live sessions, and I ask people, and a lot of them, almost none of them, know of all the different services that exist. And that just proves like, you don't have to just see a psychiatrist. There is, depending on the severity and what you're going through, there's so many different types of practitioners out there that can help you, right? You can maybe talk to a life coach, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what a life coach is. So just simple things, which was a good reminder.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And by the way, speaking of life coaches, I mean, that's been a great thing during the pandemic. So many people have readjusted their lives by utilizing services such as life coaches or just, business coaches sometimes for people who are just trying to start, in a business. Even psychiatrists, you mentioned psychiatrists. I mean, people sometimes can't go to psychiatrists. They're expensive. I don't want to, spill my guts to them. I'm going to sit there. It's funny because I have a monthly recurring show with a world-renowned psychiatrist, and it's free, people, and he's willing to answer questions. And I tell people, just send in your questions. He will answer them for you. You don't have to go to any session, so. But I'm saying it's available, but again, it's bringing it to them. Some people don't know it exists, and the standard media doesn't actually cover all these things. They just, maybe if something gets highlighted, makes newsworthy, it comes up, but it's not like something that is ongoing or resource. Unless you look and seek and do your research, it's not happening. Exactly. And that's really the challenge.
Yeah. And I think it's all about awareness, right? Because just knowing, when we talk about mental health, yes, depending on the severity of your condition, there are different types of practitioners. Oh, sure. But people don't know that, right? So it's all about like, and I think everyone are their own, they should be their own advocate, researching and having enough knowledge in terms of, learning what's out there and what are but because there's no good system of doing that. And Google, you search something, millions of options come up, and who knows who's legit, who's not, who's even populating on Google is not the best search, right? And that's what we've been trying to, I've personally been trying to do, create more awareness, and then with PromptHealth, to show people these are all your options, right? To create that awareness and to really empower these guys to get their message out there in a more effective way.
Well, first of all, that's interesting. They said Prompt Health. I was going to ask you. I mean, the name itself. I mean, I have to give you credit for selecting, because I mean, when you understand the concept, I mean, it's powerful. It's Prompt Health, So I get it. I mean, it's just I love it when companies start and like they have their own targeted audience. I mean, the title can make a big difference, and understanding what it is. I mean, it's perfect. So that was something I was going to ask. Now, let me ask you a question. So for the providers, I mean, they can join this. I mean, is there a fee? Is there any charge for them, or this is available to them just by downloading the platform?
It is available to them by downloading the platform. So there's a free option that they can have access to all the features. There's a premium option, which we kept it really low because we want everyone to be on there. It's only $25 a month. And that's for the extra services we give them. So a lot of like different social collaborations and webinars and the resources and online academy and that kind of stuff. But the platform, the connection, creation, all of that is free. So anyone can join.
And people can download this literally from, the Apple Store and Google Play. And that's pretty much it, right? Yes. And also the website?
Yes. So the website is PromptHealth. In Canada is .ca, but .co also exists, PromptHealth.co or .ca. And PromptHealth is also on the App Store, both iOS and Android. And there's no space in between, PromptHealth all in a word.
Very good. Well, I will have the link of the actual site and also like how people can download, and hopefully there'll be providers that will be interested in joining. But for the I guess navigators, that's open to public. So if I just download it up and just basically get interactive and or so for me, let's say I am not a provider, how I can download it the same way and just be as a navigator, not as a user, basically.
Yeah. So when you download the app, if you don't go through the website, if you download the app, it asks you, it prompts you, are you a C-care provider or a company? Because we also have a company section where we just added this actually. Any product or company in health and wellness that's not necessarily a provider, they have a health product, can also have a profile. And that's just like to be in front of all these other people. So the providers can become their affiliates, they can write recommendations for them. So there's like it's creating that ecosystem that everybody can benefit from each other. And they can be in front, because like a vitamin company, for example, would love to be in front of naturopaths and nutritionists, right? There's so many different product and services that would love to be in front of providers. So we also have that. So when you download the app, it says, are you a C-care provider or company? And then depending on that, you go through different pathways. If you're just navigating right now, because we started with the Canada market, because we were focused on both sides originally, there is a lot of Canadian providers on there. Mm-hmm. And the geolocation option, if you're in US, would not show anyone close to you, will show you all virtual options in Canada. But hopefully we can populate that more with people from US and other places globally, because it's open to all providers.
Well, listen, I mean, you're one step closer to all that, and it's there. I mean, it's happening. And again, I mean, listen, you brought up a whole new forum and a platform and a resource, a hub that really people can benefit from. And to your point, now it's just a matter of putting the word out, in which you're doing, and the more people know about it, the more you'll have users, and also the more people can seek it and find the right information, the right connection with whatever services they have. I mean, imagine if instead of me going to Google and just kind of like, don't even know sometimes what to look for, holistic. And you're right, you're going to have like hundreds of pages of different things,
Yeah.
and you got to search each one of them to figure out. While you can go to this platform and go to PromptHealth and just, seek, I want specifically, Reiki or Ayurveda or something, naturopath. Right? And then I go in there and have a list, and then I look at my area, and voila, I'm good. I can connect with them live and talk to those providers in person and chat with them, text them, and vice versa. And now I have a direct link with them. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And like my vision is if this became a global business, if you have a rare condition, if you can type in the search box that condition, and it tells you there is this person in that part of the world that can help you. How cool is that? Right?
That's super cool. I like that. I mean, well, that's perfect. That's exactly right. I mean, if you do that in Google, you're not going to get that. Now, again, I love Google. I mean, I Google as everything, but the idea is that it's global as it gets. I mean, it's more of a robust, database. You can just get involved in and you get lost, right? But here's like you have a direct link with direct specific location that is participating.
And you can see the profile of that person. You can see all the content that person has created. You can learn all about them. So the idea is eliminate trial and error, because like when you ask someone, do you like your, therapist? And they're like, yeah, this is the 7th therapist I went to. I finally like. But why do you have to keep going until you find someone? If you can learn about that person through their profile, through the content they have created, imagine like when we go and watch like videos of someone or content of someone, it's like, them, right? You know them before you actually go to them. So it eliminates the trial and error.
And I think that's a big value, and that's a big plus. I mean, it's just, you mentioned Amazon earlier, because I was thinking as you're talking right now, and you said Amazon. I mean, if you put any word in there, you get like thousands of the same. And you'll have to search like, page by page to see maybe if you can get that particular product that you're looking for, because there's so many of them. In this case, again, you've basically crushed all that to like a very short list of people that actually fit.
But at least Amazon has filters. Google doesn't have filters, right?
Well, that is true. That is true.
Right? The filter helps. Yeah.
Well, I love how you actually, analyze all those platforms and got the best. You juiced up the best of all of them and mixed it up in one place. And that's
now providers just have to use it. Now we just have to get them to use it to populate it more. Yeah.
Well, so if I may ask, I mean, how many providers are currently on the platform? I mean, I know it's only been, you said 1.5 years, 2 years tops, right?
It's only like it's over a year only, because the building of the platform itself took a long time, right?
Sure.
So we've been in business for a year, and there are over 600 providers from all across Canada on it right now.
Nice. Well, listen, we want to make sure that doubles and triples, and it's only time, that the more people hear about it, the more people are going to be interested. I mean, I can tell you, I have so many, providers that are in this holistic world that I've talked to. I will definitely share the platform with them.
Thank you. And the US market is huge. We kept it close to Canada until like now, because if we, dealt with the patient and the compliance and everything, we had to keep it in one region. But now that we're focusing just on providers and we're not dealing with patient information and all of that, the sky's the limit. And US market is like massive, right? So
oh, there's plenty. And you're right. I mean, like I said, in 2 years, I've had so many providers that are purely in the holistic world, and besides the ones that are just standard medicine, things like that, it just and some of them, to your point, life coaches, business coaches, I mean, trainers, motivators. I mean, there's more of that, mental health, all that. I mean, a hypnotherapist, and so it's all those. I mean, I've had so knowing that there is another platform where they can also share and be available, it's promoting them too and their services, and it gives them access. So if the process, as you stated, is very simplified, then, the verification is everybody that is practicing, they should be able to qualify themselves readily and easily, right? So they can just submit documentation and voila, they're on. And now they're part of this network that is, listen, if it's up to me, anyone that has a service should be on the platform. I mean, at the end of the day, not anyone, but I'm saying anyone that has that fits the actual profile of your providers should be there. I mean, it's just another way to promote your services. So for all audiences, if you're a seeker, now you know where to go. And as we expand to the US and other countries, there's going to be plenty. But if you're looking in Canada, now you know where to go. At least we know we have a full list there. But the same thing, for businesses, hey, maybe this is a time to start looking at another place. And I don't think of a provider that doesn't want to be in another, type of platform where they can be also available and accessible. So.
And I don't know if providers know this. When you create a profile on another website, your SEO automatically goes up, right? Because the more searchable you are on different platforms, the higher SEO or search optimization you have, in simple words, right? And a single provider with like a WordPress website, they will never have a good optimized SEO. But collectively, when you put all these people on one platform and they create content and all of these keywords keep coming up, this SEO collectively makes everyone more discoverable.
I love it. You just put that nice carrot right now. Everybody's like, we want in. But that's the way to do it. But that's a very big point. I mean, you're right. It's the more you're out there, the more people are going to hear. Like, again, I give you the same example with me. Like when I started, I'm all over and be like, why are you doing that? It's like, I want to be all over. So whatever people want to find the name, they're going to find it. I mean, there's no way you're not going to find it. If you look for it, you're going to find it. But that's the idea. But it's the same concept. You want to be available so people can seek the service, whatever the case may be, and have the assistance they need. So this is perfect. I mean, listen, it's great innovation. It's the next level, and you've put in a new piece of legacy, I would say, in the healthcare and in the holistic world specifically. But I think this is just the beginning of the journey. Maybe we'll catch up a couple of years later and we'll see how far you are. I'm sure you're going to be like, huge, and, we'll be talking then again and be like, we started when it's only the first year mark. And now
we'll see.
Listen, I have no doubt. I mean, you're doing it. Plus, I mean, you're not keeping it as antiquated as it's when it starts. I mean, everything starts small, but you're building and you're updating, you're upgrading, and you're innovating. And that's the key. You have to always keep up. A lot of platforms, sometimes they just stay what they are and there's no improvement. Maybe they do some tweaks, but as you evolve it to the, like, again, my tagline is time to evolve. So we have to evolve, from where we are today to the next stage and let next level. So, and that you're doing just in the time frame, you made so many changes and adjustments to the next level. So, hey, well, Hedieh, it's been great. I think we're just about an hour. So, I know your time is valuable, so I thank you for being with us, and thank you for the valuable insights and information. And I wish you all the best and good luck, to really expand more. And on my side, I will promote, the actual platform as well. And yeah, I'll have the link of the connection and to where people can download and the whole nine. All right. Any last words to share with our folks?
No, this was great. I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for the opportunity. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, folks. Thank you for being with us tonight. And we had a great exchange here and hope you'll benefit from this. We'll be talking soon. New day, new show, new topic, new guest. Bye for now.
Stay well.